Hello techies, welcome to Microsoft Power Automate tutorials. In this module, we will learn how to create an approval workflow by using our Power Automate. Now, first of all, we'll see the use case for the leave approval process. If you see on my screen how we are going to create a workflow by using Power Automate. First of all, if you see in any corporate, how we are going to do that, we'll go for some of the portal to apply a leave. And after that, we're going to, these all details, we're going to fill it by using our MS forms. And after these details, we are going to store in our database. Here, what I am going to use, I'm going to use an Excel to store the data. And after that, once the form has been submitted by the employee, it will go for the approval. Once based on our approval and given details, what will happen? The approval may be accepted or rejected. That is nothing but approved or rejected. Based on that, the details will be stored in Excel again. And also in the same way, the details also sent to the particular requester through email. And if you observe over here, I'm going to use 4 different applications. One is MS Form, Excel, approval, and after that mail process. These are all the different applications that I'm going to use it. So in behalf of leave form, you can use SharePoint or else OneDrive or else Dropbox. You can use it, based on your requirement. You can go ahead and do that. Even here also, if you want to go ahead and if you want to store the data in Excel, you can go ahead and you can use the Excel, or else you can go ahead and you can use SQL Server. And in the mails, I'm going to use Outlook to receive the mails, or else even the personal mails also, like Gmail ID, you can use it to retrieve the mails. Okay, this is about the entire leave approval process. Let me switch to Microsoft Power Automate, and you can see over here what we are going to do. We are going to be work with actions also. You will find the approvals also over here. Please keep an eye over here. Before going to start this Microsoft Power Automate workflow, what I will show you few things over here. First of all, I will go to Microsoft Forms. If you see, I have already created a leave form over here. Let me click on leave form. We have created a leave form with the title leave form. And after that, you can see employee ID. In that, we are having the fields employee ID, employee name, email ID, manager name, and the requesting date of the leave. And then this is the form actually. If you click on preview, you can see over here employee ID, employee name, email ID, manager, and the leave details. You have to fill it up, and then you have to click on submit. Once it has been done, what will happen? Here, what we are going to do as a second step, we are going to store the data in the leave form details in the Excel. The Excel having the name of leave form details. This is the Excel name, and you can see there we are having different columns, that is the employee ID, employee name, email ID, manager name, leave date when you are requesting. These are all the things which we have seen already in the Microsoft Forms, but there is one more column that we are having leave status. It has been approved or not, rejected, whatever it may be. Based on that, we are going to be updating this leave status, right? And once the status has been approved or rejected, we will send a mail to particular requester which they have given the email ID. Okay, and how can we go ahead and we can approve this? By using our actions. We will see in our Power Automate, we are going to click on approvals, and then we will find the what are the requests that we have. And also we can see the same thing in Outlook also. Even we can approve it from our Outlook also. And once the request has been approved or rejected, based on that, we are going to send a mail to the particular requester. Okay, this is how we are going to create a flow. Now, let me go to Microsoft Power Automate. We are going to create a new flow. Let me click on create. And you will find different options over here, like automated flow, instant flow, schedule now, UI flow, business process flow. But here what we are going to use automated flow, because of we don't know when the form has been submitting by the particular requester for the leave purpose, right? Now I'm going to use automated flow, and I'm going to give the flow name as leave approval form. or leave approval flow I will give. Okay, and if you see, choose your flow to trigger. From where I'm going to submit it? From my Microsoft Forms, right? I will select the same. I'm just going to give the name as Forms, and you can see there's a lot of responses are coming. When a new response is submitted, you can see under that we are having Microsoft Forms. Let me select that. And there's a lot of things, but right now we are going to use only Microsoft, right? Microsoft Forms. Now let me go ahead, let me create it. And you can see over here, when a new response, this is the triggering point. Now if you form ID is required. What is the form we have given? Here, leave form details, right? Let me drop down that. You can see over here, leave form. Okay, let me select that. And now once a new response is submitted in MS Forms, what we have to do, we have to get that response, right? How we can go ahead and get that response? I'm going to select a new step, and then I'm going to same forms, and you can see the choose action. When I'm going to select this Microsoft Forms, what is the action it is going to get? Get response details. What are the details we have filled? It will get all the details over here by using get response. That is the second thing. Now you can see the form ID over here. When you drop down this, it will get what is the details that we have? That is leave form. And then what is the response ID? Whenever you are going to be click on response ID, you will get the dynamic content over here, and we are having only one response ID related to this get response. That is response ID. I'm going to select that. Okay. Now up to here, we have used our Microsoft Forms, that is MS Forms. Now let me go ahead, let me save it. Now, once the request has been submitted and we have retrieved that response details over here, but as a second step, what we have to do, we have to load the data into this Excel online. That is, this Excel is an online, right? Now, how can I go ahead and do that? Now I'm going to click on new step, and I'm going for Excel Online Business. Now we are going to save the data on Excel, right? That's the reason I'm going to select Excel Online. And you can see there are different actions we are having. For every request, we need to add a row, correct? If I'm going to get a request, I'm going to add a row into this Excel, right? How can I go ahead and do that? You can see over here, add a row into the table. I'm going to select that action. And then if you see add a row into the table, it is asking for the location where it is. I'm going to use OneDrive for this to store the data. That's the reason I'm going for the OneDrive for Business. And document library, same as OneDrive. And the file name. What is the file name? That is leave form details, right? Now, if you see over here, when I'm select this browse, you will find all the Excel's what we have. Now, if you see over here, this is the leave form details. Now, once you have select this, you will get the table. What table do you have? In my table, I'm already having, you can see these are all the auto populate. You don't want to write any kind of coding over here. It will automatically fetch all the details from the, from the online. Okay. Now, if you see, I'm going to select this table, that is leave detail, which we have in the leave forms. Now, let me select that. And once you have selected that, it will automatically populate all the columns which you are having in the Excel, that is employee ID, employee name, email ID, manager, leave date, and leave status. Let me show you that Excel. These are all the columns, right? What you have over there, right? All the columns are coming over here. Now, at the first time that I'm going to insert the details, right? What are the details where we can get the details? What are the response that we got it from the get response details? That's the same details I'm going to give it over here. But once you have clicked over here, you can see the dynamic content over here. What is the data that we are going to get it? That is from the response, right? That is first one, employee name. What is the employee name? We are having employee name. Sorry, what is the employee ID? We are having employee ID, employee name, employee name. I'm going to mapping all these things, one-to-one mapping I'm going to do. You can see email ID, manager name. Because of why I'm going to get it, the same names that I have given both in the MS Forms and as well as in the Excel, so that you won't get any confused over here, right? And the leave date, you can see the date which has been requested, right? I'm going to select the same thing. Now, the leave status. As first time you are going to request it, what will happen? It will be on hold, right? We are having different status like approve, rejected. That is from the mail, from the action perspective. But here, I'm not giving any kind of approval or rejection right now, right? I'm just going to request for the submission, right? In that case, I'm having only hold status. That's why I'm going to hard code it as leave status as hold. But here in our MS forms, we don't have that column. That's the reason I'm just going to give the same details over here. Now, all the things one-to-one columns has been mapped over here, and then I'm going to save it. Now, once the row has been inserted, right? What is the next step? I want to send it that request to the approval, right? For the approval is the third process. Now let me go ahead and let me create a new step. And I am going for approval. I'm just going to type approval over here. And you can see over here, approvals different types, but we are using only approvals is the thing that I'm going to use it. But here there are different actions. Create an approval, start and wait for the approval, wait for an approval. So these are different actions that we have. So I'm going to create an approval in a such a way, myself I'm going to create it. But once you are going to use start and wait for the approval, what will happen once you have created the approval, but you are waiting for the approvals like, for your managers or someone has to approve it. If you're having multi-managers or multi-level approval you are having, in that case, you are going to use it. Wait for an approval. Without doing that, you are just going to be waiting for the approvals. In that case, that will use it. Okay, now let me go ahead, start and wait for the approval first. I'm going to select this action. And then you can see approval type. There are also so many approval types that we have. One is approve or reject. That is the options that we are having, right? Like 2 buttons, we will get it. I will show you these 2 buttons. Okay. Everyone must approve. What does this mean? If you are going to request, if you're going to give some kind of, requested 2 email IDs that you're going to give it, in that case, who are there in the email IDs, all the people has to approve it. In the same way, waiting for all the responses, all the people, if you are waiting for 10 approvals, all the 10 responses you have to wait. That is for the wait for all approvals. Here also you are having custom responses in the way that if you are having more than 2 options like approve, reject, hold, something in progress kind of thing, in such a case that will use all these things. The maximum number of buttons it will allow is 5. Over here you can see approve or reject, there are 2, but maximum buttons that will be only 5. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use approve or reject for the first response, because if I don't require all the approvals, okay, I will just use, if I'm still using multi approvers are there, but still I will use first to respond, only one person has to respond. Based on your requirement again, you can go ahead and you can select that. Even because of I'm just going to use only one person as an approver, so that I can use both any one of that. Okay, now anyhow that I'm going to use first to respond. And you can see the title over here. What is the title that you will get it in your approvers list? That is, I will say leave request. I'm just going to give it as leave request from whom. I'm just going to make it dynamically. So from whom that I want to, I'm going to give employee name over here. The title will comes leave request from. If I'm going to request the employee name as Amir, that I'm going to give it as leave request from Amir. And then assigning to over here. Here my boss is my son, so that my son is my manager, so that I'm just going to give my son's detail over here. And then if you're having multi-level approver, over here you can assign multi people over here, assign to like that in your companies. What you will do, if you're having a manager 1, manager 2, manager 3, all the required approvals are there. In that case, you can go ahead and you can do that. Or else, if you see the hierarchy that we are having, HR and after that manager that we have to approve. All the people has to approve your leave. In that case, assign to, you are going to use multi-level. Okay. And the details over here, you can see the details. It is not mandatory over here, but still I will show you in a such a way. Hi, I'm going to give my manager name, right? Over here, if you see over here in my MS forms that I'm going to give my manager name, I'm going to say hi, manager name, comma, this is the description that I'm going to give it over here. Okay, please approve my request on date. I'm going to give the date over here. You can see leave date, right? So maybe any reason, I'm not going to give any reason over here. So thanks, I'm just going to give thanks. And after that, who has requested? The employee. I'm just going to give dynamically this data. This is the dynamic content that what we have. And you can see all the things over here, right? And item link, if you have any item links over here, add a link to the item to approve. And you can see the dynamic link content. We're having item link also. If you want, you can give it, or else I'm just going to give respond ID. But if you see, it is not mandatory. Okay, let me go ahead. Let me save this. Please be patient because of it is a very lengthy process, but you can see the entire leave process I'm going to complete within one session. That is the beautiness of the Power Automate, and also you can see within couple of hours that we are going to complete the entire process. But normally if you do the coding, how many days you have to test it, all these things, it will to deploy it also, it will take a lot of time, right? But over here, if you see, it is going to be completing within couple of hours, and even it is going to be production within couple of hours only. Now, let me save this. Now, if you see, I have created the form, added to the data, sent for the approval. Okay, now let us assume I have sent for the approval. Okay, this one will send an approval notification. Over here, we will find it in the approvals. Once the approvals may be reject or accept, that is nothing but we are having two options, right? I have shown you approved or rejected, right? Based on that, what I will do, if it is approved, then I will send one kind of mail and also update to the data, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on new step. And you can see over here, I'm going to use condition. So I'm going to use the controller. Under controller, you will find the condition. What condition that I'm going to use it? If outcome, whatever the outcome is coming from this approval process, based on that, I'm going to be creating yes or no. So where we'll get it? The outcome. Check for the outcome over here in the dynamic content. You can see outcome, the outcome of the approval. What is the outcome of the approval? That is approved or rejected. I will say this is approved. Okay, if it is approved is true, then what is the action? I have to update the details in the leave form details. Now, how can I go ahead and do that? I'm going to, in the Excel, I want to update. I'm going to click on add an action, Excel online. So I'm going to update the row. The same row whichever I have inserted over here in the Excel, I'm going to update the same row, right? Now let me go ahead, let me update a row. And you can see the same things what we are going to use it. OneDrive for business, another one OneDrive, document library, and the file name, what is the file name? Leave form details, right? And what is the table that we have? That is the table leave data. Right, I have selected that one. What is the key column over here? If you see over here, employee ID may be unique at this time. That's why reason I have used employee ID over here. Based on that, I'm going to use it. Okay, I'm going to give it a here. The key column is employee ID, and the key value I will give it as response ID, or also I will give it as an employee ID. No worries in that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't want to change any of these details over here, like employee ID, employee name, email ID, manager ID, all these things are the same, except this leave status. What is the status right now? If you see over here, if it is approved, then what will happen? If it is once approved, I'm going to update the status over here, like outcome over here. Just simply the same thing, I will use it as an outcome. I'm going to update the leave status with outcome. Now, the same way over here, what I'm going to do over here, the same kind of update row, I will do it over here also in the else part, right? Same Excel online. I'm going to update a row, and after that, you can see over here, OneDrive for business, location, that is location, document library, OneDrive, and the file name, I'm going to use leave form details. And table, what is the table that we have? That is leave data. Another one key column that we are having employee ID. The same values. I will tell you why we have to use the same thing, employee ID. And after that, what is the leave status over here? The same outcome. Now you may ask why you have created if else conditions over here. Anyhow, the same details we are going to give it, but why? What is the reason behind that to give if else conditions as a two statements, and then you are going to be filling the same details, right? I have to send different mails. If it is yes, that I have to say congratulations or something. I have to say your leave is approved, and here I want to say your mail has been rejected. The content I am going to change it, and I'm going to send a mail to the particular requester. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one more action, add an action. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to send an email, right? Email by using send an email notification. That is our final step, right? Now let me select that. If you see the two, who is to that, if you see in my leave form, that is email ID that I'm having. I will use the same thing over here. That is email ID, and the subject I will say subject as that is the same outcome. I will tell over here. You can see the outcomes that we are having, right from approved. Just I'm going to say approved. Okay, and then I'm going to say hi. So particular to whom I have to send this, who are the requester is there, right? That is nothing but employee name. Hi employee name. This is dynamically I'm going to creating it. Your leave is approved. Your leave is outcome. I will say why I have to do that. I will make it dynamically everything, right? Your leave is approved, right? Thanks from manager. So who is the manager? Who has been approved? That is the manager name. That is the thing. Now over here, this is the S condition. Now I'm going to use the same thing for the no condition. This is no condition, right? Now if you see over here, same send email that I'm going to do that, but to who is to that requester email ID. I'm going to give subject outcome, right? I don't want to type all these things. You will get the dynamically over here outcome, and I will say over here dynamically I have to change something. Your request is rejected. Okay, and I will say the simply rejected outcome, that I will say as outcome, or else I will give in the format of hi. Okay, this is all the different content that I'm having. That's the reason I have used different if and if condition. That is the condition statement I have used it. Okay, now let me save it. And now I will explain you one more time over here to make you understand. I have created a trigger when a new response is submitted. Based on that, I'm going to fetch by using MS Forms. I'm going to get response details as an action that I will get all the details. And then what are the details I got it? I'm going to add a row into that. What is that add a row into the table? I'm going to add the details into the Excel online business, right? What is the table that we have? Leave data is the table. And after that, I'm going to send a approval request to the particular to whom I have requested, right? You will send it the manager details over there. It will send into the approval status. Okay. Now, based on the approved or rejected, it will update my Excel as well as it will send the email to the particular requester. This is about the entire flow. Okay. Now, let me save it once again, and we want to test it, right? Our workflow is ready. Now I want to test it. Is it working fine or not? How can I go ahead and check it out? Now if you see over here, I'm having a test over here. Let me click on that, and you can see I will perform the trigger action. I'm selecting that, and then let me go ahead. Let me save the test. Save one test. If you see it will take some time for to start the response. Now in the meanwhile time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to the Microsoft Forms. Okay, now employee ID I'm going to give it as 1234. Okay, and employee name I'm going to give it as Amir Basha, and then employee ID I'm going to give my personal email ID. The reason is that I'm going to I want to know that emails are coming to my particular ID or not, particular email ID or not. Okay, and I'm going to give my manager detail and the leave date. So on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi, I want to take a leave on 25th, let assume I want to take this leave. Now let me go ahead, let me click on submit. Before that, if you see, still it is not processed because of it will wait for the request. But if you have already submitted that, it will be happen that way also. Okay, let me click on submit. Now you can see your flow is running over here. And you can see when a new response is submitted, that is test, it has been succeeded. And you can see add a row into the table. It is 1 second is taken to insert the data. Now let me go ahead, let me see in Excel. Now you can see the employee ID 1234, employee name Amir, email ID that is so and so thing, manager name Rehan, and the leave date. And leave status, you can see we have given hard coded over there, that is hold. Okay, this is the request that I have get it. Now if you see over here, start and wait for an approval. So it is nothing but here we are having the main approval form, right? So it is waiting for the approval over here. There are two ways to do that. Once you will get an email to the particular manager as well as to the in the actions. First of all, we'll see in the actions. Under actions, you will have approvals. Let me click on that. This is one of the way. You can see over here all the things. Leave request from Amir Basha, that is the employee name that I have given. You can see over here two buttons. One is approve, another one is reject. And you can see the received 1 minute before I have requested. And you can see the details over here. How can I get the details? Let me click on these leave request. And you can see over here, hi Rehan, that is my manager name. Please approve my request on date so and so. Thanks and records these things. Now these are all the approval, that is leave request, all these details I have got it. Now let me click on cancel. Over here I'm going to approve it. Now let me go ahead, let me approve it, and I'm going to confirm it, and respond is approve. You can see approve. Let me click on done. And now where it has to update the details, first of all, we'll see in these details. You can see now it has been changed as approve, right? And once it has been approved or rejected, you have to receive a mail, right? This is my personal email ID. And you can see in the updates that have received a mail from the Microsoft Power Automate saying that approve. Let me click on that. And you can see, hi Amit Basha, your leave is approved. Thanks, Rehan. That is the manager details which we have given, right? Till now, we have seen how to approve by using actions, under actions by using approvals. Now, I will show you one more way, okay? Now, let me go to my flows. Let me click on leave approval flow. Now, let me click on edit. Now, let me test it, okay? Let me start testing. I will perform the action, the trigger action. I will take this and then I'm going to click on test. Now I'm going for the MS Microsoft Forms and then I'm going to submit another response. I will give the employee details like 14325 something. Okay, I will give the name over here as Vishwa. Okay, and the employee ID I will give the same as I have given because of I need to get some response, right? I need to know the response is coming or not, so that I will give my same email ID, that is basha.amir86@gmail.com. I will give the manager name as some Rehan only, and then the leave details I will give it, go ahead and give it as 30, and then I'm going to submit. And you can see when a new response is submitted, it is taking very less time to fetch the data, and then the response also is 0 seconds. And to add a new row into the table, it is taking 1 second. Now let me go ahead, let me show you once again. You can see over here the 1425 Vishwa and it is on hold status. Now I'm not going to use these action items. I'm going to my mail, and then you can see over here Microsoft Flow leave request from Amir. Now let me select that, and then from here you can see there are two buttons that I'm having. One is approve and one is reject. Hi Amir, please approve my request on date. I'm going to click on this button, click on approve. Once you have clicked on the approve, you can find all these details. It is going to be redirecting to the same Microsoft Flow only. But if you are using Mozilla Firefox, then in that case it will ask to provide the comments and all these things. Now you can see over here I'm going to click on confirm, and then I'm going to give okay comments like okay, and then I'm going to click on done. You can see the response status as approved. Once it has been approved, you can find the details over here. You can see in my Excel that I'm having as approved. The details has been approved. Once the flow has been completed, you can see you can receive a mail on your personal email ID. Okay. This is how you are going to create an approval workflow by using Power Automate. Thank you for watching Microsoft Power Automate tutorials. If you have any queries related to this concept, please post them in the comment section. I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Have a nice day.